Start the morning.
Good morning, everybody. How you doing? Good. Pumping yourself full of coffee and breakfast and things, hopefully? All right. I haven't. I need way more coffee. By the way, speaking of coffee, free ones out there at Joey Zaz's. Just tell them you're at Morning Startup and they'll give you a coffee. Apologies to those that have already paid for one. To be frank, I would have to change my name because my name is Scott. Boom. And this is...
Hi, and I'm Erin Clark.
And we're startup founders.
We are. And that's why we look slightly sleep deprived, I think, isn't it? Need
right.
coffee.
If you haven't been to Morning Startup before, we do this every 2 weeks, rain, hail or shine. We put on a cool speaker. Today we've got Kate Harris, who's going to help us all get into the mindset for the next 2 weeks, or life, hopefully. We'll see how we go. But yeah, I'm just going to keep going because I need visual aids. Shameless plugs and announcements. What we'd like to do is work out who you guys are, why you're here, why you're coming, and this is sort of your chance to tell everyone what you're all about. If you're looking for a co-founder or looking for some help, feel free to stand up and do like a 30-second pitch. I love the enthusiasm.
Thanks, Erin. Hello, everyone. So I'm Carrie. I'm a product and business consultant freelancer. And what I do is I help startups build products and services, basically. So if you have a vision but you don't have an idea around your strategy, I can help. If you need delivery with a project, again, I can help. Or even something a bit more specific like user research. So I have experience in all of that kind of stuff. So give me a shout if you need anything.
How do we find you? You got a website?
Yeah. So keepgoodcompany.xyz.
Keep it company.
Keep good company.
Keepgoodcompany.xyz. Nice.
Yep. All right. Who's next?
Hello, everyone. My name is Ahmed. I'm a game developer. I've been a game developer for 4 years. Currently working on a startup idea called GameSim, essentially taking video games to the cinemas. I have been to the cinemas recently and noticed that even if there's like a blockbuster movie, as we all have seen, oftentimes it's like 1 or 2 rows that are filled. And so did some research, noticed that cinemas are indeed suffering. In the US, since 2019, sales have dropped by 40% of cinema ticket sales. And at the same time, in-person gaming events have been on the rise. Recently, League of Legends 2024, the World Cup, it had a 20,000 person show up at their World Cup in London. And essentially, so I want to take this sort of new enthusiasm for in-person gaming events to cinemas and activate cinemas. Currently building the games that will be exclusive to the cinemas and the video game technology. And also building a waitlist website for anyone who's interested. So if you're interested, feel free to come after the session and I can add you to the waitlist website. Thank you.
Very cool. Interesting idea.
Fantastic. I don't have to move far today. This is great, isn't it?
Hello, everyone. My name is Aaron from Bright Agent. We help Aussie homeowners save money when they're thinking of selling their house by getting real estate agents to lower their commission rate. That's what we do. So we just moved over here from Sydney a couple of weeks ago and we're just getting settled in here and look forward to attending a few more of these meetup groups.
Is there anything specific you're looking for?
Customers. Probably. We've launched our app, Bright Agent app for iOS and Android about 1.5 years ago, and it's going well. It's essentially a two-sided marketplace. So you think of, a good starting point is like Trivago or Webjet or something that starts off as a sort of a comparison. So if you're thinking of selling your property, you can take a couple of pics and 3-bed, 2-bath, roughly how long you want sort of timeline for selling, how much you're after. And then the monetization comes through the agents who they subscribe for their sort of local area to be able to offer their services to sell your home. And then we sort of went one step further than just comparison, and we introduced competition. And so the agents can see who else is put forward a commission rate offering. I'll sell your house for 2%. Ooh, I'm a bit lean this month. I'd do it for 1.9. I'd do it for 1.8. And because it's completely free service for the home seller, you get to leverage that transparency and competition as well. So there you go. So we're there. It's just,
Watch real estate agents battle to the bottom.
Yeah, I've had one death threat so far, but I think that means we're hitting the right note. So there you go.
All right.
Sorry if any agents.
Any other shameless plugs?
Anyone else? Yeah. I was eyeballing you.
I was trying to like. Oh God,
Don't make
everyone's
eye
looking at
contact.
me. So I'm Kaylee. I run Sensorium. Essentially, we're a foundational marketing company. We specialise in brand positioning, messaging, and strategy. Very much in the early stages of business. So come and have a chat.
Fantastic.
Sensorium.com. Is that what you're looking at me?
Yes.
You want to find me? There we
Some
go.
kind of way to find you. Cool.
All right.
Any others? By the way, people on the live stream, there are people here. They're mainly just up the back, so...
Good morning, everyone. I thought I might reintroduce myself. I first introduced myself maybe 6 years ago, and now I'm an analyst at Fund WA, so we're a WA-based venture fund. But I was reflecting a little bit on that because when I first wanted to get into startups, Morning Startup was the first place that I came. And so that kind of kicked off everything in terms of my networks and everything, and now I'm in VC. So I'd just like to thank everyone for being such a cool community and for supporting me. So
Awesome. Great to hear it. Thank you very much.
Oh.
It works. Getting people together. It's awesome. Good to hear. Were there any other shameless plugs before we move on? No? Ready to get into the talk? Okay. But before we do, we've got a few things that we want to plug. So Founder Sundowner, first Wednesday of every month. It's another morning startup event, just a free casual chat with founders at a pub, other side of nowhere in West Leederville. So that's next Wednesday, I think, is the first.
Fantastic. So if you... we had a few good little pictures coming out there, didn't we, in our shameless plugs?
So if you want to take 30 seconds to 3 minutes, get on this.
This is it, Picture Startup. So absolutely fantastic way to get feedback from the startup community in a safe environment. So no Shark Tank vibes, although I think if we've got Dave, I shouldn't say that because
I know.
if
The
Dave's
most
on the
aggressive
panel, hi
environment
Dave. There may be one or two sharks and maybe a few guppies and piranhas on the panel. But it's a beautiful space to test your pitch. And I think last fortnight we had the crew talking about one of the most important things that Marcus mentioned was, as a startup founder, even if you're not going down the VC route, you're always going to be pitching.
Absolutely. Whether it's to investors or just to your next employee and trying to rally the troops, you've got to get people aligned on your vision. So being able to communicate that as effectively as possible is a good
Should
thing
we
to do.
mention how they actually sign up, or do we want to keep it a mystery,
probably.
or like or some kind of
Contact a Morning Startup. If you just send us an email with what your startup is, so the name and a short description of what it's all about, and we're probably looking for about 6 to 8, depending on how many people apply.
First in, best dressed.
Get in quick. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Jitsi. Thank you, Jitsi. Department of Jobs, Tourism, Science and Innovation. They are helping us with the live stream at the back, which is brought to us by the kind folks at perthvideo.com.au. Just to jump back to this, Jitsi have a range of programs. Such as funding. If you guys need funding for your startup, they've got the Innovation Booster grants. They've got the other one that's
They've
more.
got a whole pile of stuff there. Not only have they got all different ways for you from money from, hey, I'm just starting out, to I'm looking to scale, they also have a series of different incubators in different specialties.
Absolutely. Oh, and in about 6 or 8 weeks' time, they're going to be hosting the Innovators of the Year launch event. So that's one of their programs that they run. So you can apply to be an Innovator of the Year and get that exposure for your business. So hear all about that coming up soon. Cool. PerthVideo.com. Head to that URL or QR code if you want to check out the live stream. By the way, they do amazing video streaming for any event that you want to do. So if you've got a birthday or a wedding or anything like that, they can find internet in remote areas, and it's quite actually amazing, the tech behind what goes into this stuff.
And my marketing. So stalwart in the Perth community, well known for supporting Perth startups. Check out their Weird Growth podcast, all kinds of amazing founder stories to keep you inspired.
Absolutely. They have been supporting us from the start, as has Beecham Group. Glenn's not here. We don't get Glenn's 30 seconds tip. Damn. But they're a boutique recruitment company here in Perth, so if you need talent or you have talent and want to get a job at a cool company, then hit up Glenn at Beecham Group.
Keep Space, 3PL. So who here has a e-commerce?
E-commerce, selling things online, shipping things around the world.
Yes, fantastic.
Woo,
we've got one.
Hey.
Excellent. What was that?
Watchstraps.com.au.
Watchstraps.com.au.
All right. Are you using Keep Space, Brad? There we go. Oh, fantastic. So Keep Space, they've got some food at the back. That's why we're promoting them, because they wanted... Jesse actually moved to Melbourne. He's like, I really still want to be involved in the Perth startup scene and help you guys out as much as we can. So we didn't need his money, but we wanted food for you guys. So, yeah.
And
thanks,
happy customers.
Jesse,
Don't need to sell it. Us, if we've got happy customers.
Yeah, fantastic. And the other thing we provide you guys is coffee. And that is thanks to the fine folks at Purpose Ventures. Who hasn't heard of Purpose Ventures? Okay.
Fantastic.
Oh,
I love that. It's like, all right, this one looks tricky. I'll give it to Erin. So Purpose Ventures is, I understand, and we've got Fun WA in the room, so I feel like this part's now I'm under pressure to describe this really accurately, because we've actually got someone who can tell if I describe it incorrectly. So Purpose Ventures are a VC who are chartered in Western Australia, so they're really passionate about investing in the West Australian ecosystem. And this is specifically for people who have an established product market fit. So
absolutely, yeah.
And
you want to be in that sort of VC scalable space. So, but Derek and Kylie and the team at Purpose Ventures have been fantastic. They've done information sessions here at Morning Startup before, so on perthvideo.com.au there's some past sessions, so check them out. But yeah, thank you Purpose Ventures for helping out Morning Startup and supplying us with coffee and funding. Cool. Space Cubed. This place is owned by Space Cubed. They've got a few more places down the road and they give us this space for free. Thank you very much, Space Cubed. Make sure you subscribe to Startup News. Make sure you're a member of Startup WA. And we heard all about the Plus8 program last week, so we won't go too much into that. But yeah, definitely make sure you're a member of Startup WA. They're like body for government, so the government's just, well, we've got the same one coming in, which is great. But yeah, all of those programs supplied by Jitsi is thanks to the guys at Startup WA. Cool, just flying through this because we want to get to the talk. This is a QR code. If you're new to the startup space in WA, go and chat with the little bot here and say, I'm in ag tech or real estate or whatever it might be. And they'll guide you through to the appropriate program or people in WA that can help you out. There's a whole bunch of them. We mentioned Plus8 just before. They also basically run Startup Weekend every now and then. Kerry over at UWA, you've got Bloom, you've got ECU, you've got all, yeah, there's a ton of stuff going on, so make sure you're connected and going to the right place for your startup. Cool, get in touch with us. We're always looking for cool speakers that can talk to the startup community about something interesting, so contact a Morning Startup is the best way to go. Actually, I tell a lie, slack.morningstartup.com. That's a Slack channel, have a chat with other startup founders in between Morning Startups. Love to see you in there. But we're Morning Startup on all the things. So take photos and do all that stuff and put it on socials. So we usually tell you what's happening in 2 weeks' time, but our speaker in 2 weeks' time was all lined up, ready to go, but it fell through at the last minute. So we have some options.
We do have
just
some
wanted
options.
to workshop some talk ideas, get a bit of a vote.
And we thought we'd make it a democracy.
Yeah.
Rather than the organisers Slack group. So I've kindly put my hand up to speak in 2 weeks' time. And there's a few different sort of pre-prepared topics or rants, depending on your perspective, that I could talk about. So I'll give you a quick overview of the 4, and then what we thought we'd do is have a show of hands, and for anyone who's online, if you want to bang something in the Slack group.
Yeah, we should put a vote in the Slack group. We'll
put a vote in the Slack group.
Yeah, cool.
So Bootstrapping 101, so that's chatting about what practically happens behind the scenes, so warts and all. If you're not going down the VC route, what are some of the things practically about organising your life without losing your house? What does that look like without going insane? Codeless of scale, so this is, I think, Scott's vote, is... actually, is it your vote? I don't know.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah,
it was
yours. Yeah.
I could
So
be
there's there's a lot of curiosity. So one of the startups that I run is called Stories Unseen, and it runs on a completely codeless platform. And we're currently scaling across Australia. So
if you don't know codeless, that's like using a range of other apps to help build your thing and plug stuff together using like APIs and Zapier and stuff like that, right? So how do you do that without actually building code?
Yeah, so explaining the practicalities of how that works, what we do, all those types of things. I talk my muggle stuff that I do. So when I'm not talking about startups, I talk about organisational design and work with organisations around business architecture. So what do they need to do from a people, organisation, technology and information perspectives to be able to scale? So having a bit of a chat about some of the things that founders get wrong, or also chatting about if you were to roll this out in your organisation, what's the process that you would go through? And my other passion that never gets talked about is actually talking about business analysis for startups. So I know we talk about service design and those types of things, but it's something that exists in corporate, but we don't see it in startups anymore. So that's the 4. Do we want to vote here?
Show of hands.
So show of hands for bootstrapping.
Okay. Codeless at scale. Well, it's going to be time. All right.
Org design.
Okay.
Business analysis for startups.
Wow.
All right, that's the least popular.
Okay, so it's not business analysis. It's either of those other 3 that pretty much got an equal vote. All right.
We'll put it out to the universe.
We'll work it out and be in touch. Stay tuned. What's happening in 2 weeks' time? Cool. But that is formalities out of the way.
And Scott's dad jokes.
And we are over to Kate Harris. So I've known Kate for a little while now, and she's been helping Perth startups and WA businesses from recruitment, but through to mindset and wellness and just, making sure you can get up every morning, pick up tools and keep going. So she's, throughout your coaching career and your entire career, you've learnt a lot of practical strategies and tips, and she's going to share them with us today. So please make her welcome, Kate Harris.
Thank you. So who hasn't got a handout? Because I know some people came in a bit later, so I just want to give you this. And has everyone got coffee? So I'd recommend doing that. 5:30 a.m. start's always fun. Cool. So I want today to be really interactive. And I guess I want to kind of do it a bit differently this morning. Not that I've been to every single Riff Morning meetup, but I just want us to have this space as a really vulnerable space where we can be really open. No question is a silly question. There will be some interactive activities that I would love you guys to participate in. If you don't feel comfortable, you don't have to. But yeah, let's get started. So as Scott was saying, I've worked in the startup scene for over 5 years, and I've had a multitude of roles in the ecosystem. So I was a partner at a global growth consulting company called Think and Grow for about 6 years, and I actually moved to Perth from Melbourne 6 weeks before COVID hit. So I missed all of the lockdowns and all of that kind of stuff, which was lucky for me. Now, basically, within the time that I worked with startups, and obviously startup is a very broad term, right? So we've got your early stage startups. Put your hand up if you're more of an early stage startup at the moment. Yep. And then, you know, a lot of the founders that I work with in Perth and then over east were Series A businesses, and that they were kind of then looking to exit. Okay. So through that time, working as a partner in that business, I actually worked across organisational design, so that's why I put my hand up for the next one. And I did a lot of workshopping. I did a lot of, you know, I guess one-on-one around team cohesion, and then with the team. And then, yes, I helped bring in, you know, executives. So all of my roles that I've ever had have been very focused on supporting others, whether that is from an org design perspective, a workshop perspective, around teams, and really understanding what drives people. Because at the end of the day, if, you know, you don't have your team or you're not, you know, mindset fit, you know, you have no startup, right? So that's where human by design has come in. And I've decided myself that my true passion really now is to do this work. So some people who know me in the ecosystem, I think most people are quite new to me, I guess, here. But that's sort of where my background has come from. And Stephen Bartlett, I don't know if you guys know him at all. I saw him a couple of years ago. Does anyone look at the diary of the CEO, or is anyone interested in that? Yeah? And he talks about the 5 buckets. And in those 5 buckets, I won't go through all of them, but he does really talk about when you're going into business, it's really important, I guess, to have, you know, your main skill and then a secondary skill. So what I'm doing now is just really deepening what I've already done before, and adding, I guess, more awareness in terms of these conversations. So as I said, I want today to be a little bit more open and vulnerable, and, you know, this is a safe space here. I want us to all feel like we can, you know, connect and I guess be honest around, you know, our journeys as high achievers, right? Because essentially that's what I do. I work with high achievers, and high achievers fall in the bucket of entrepreneurship, obviously leadership, and anyone who, you know, really is continuing to strive for a goal. So who here, I guess, has ever experienced self-doubt, if you're kind of being honest with yourself, affecting your business or your leadership role? So just put your hand up. I can put my hand up because I have. You know, I'm kind of, you know, having to go through these experiences myself as well as teach them, right? Now, my belief really is that, yes, I believe in strategy, right? So I've been doing a lot of mentoring the last probably 4 years in Perth. I've done mentoring at Ignition for, I don't know if you guys know that program, which is a 5-day sort of like boot camp. You know, they talk about the foundations. There's obviously Empower Her. I ran a workshop there. I've also been involved in the sprint series of +8, and then other sort of programs. And yes, we need strategy. Yes, we need structure. But when we look at having a business and being an entrepreneur, it's like this, right? And when our mindset isn't taken care of, or it affects our performance, and if we want to be peak performers, it's really, really important to kind of look at some of these elements. So I guess I've already done a bit of an intro at the start, but if you're not connected with me on LinkedIn, please connect with me. I'm more than happy to have a chat with you one-on-one. We can jump online. There's like, it's not a sales pitch, it's just more, you know, I can connect you to people as well in the ecosystem and over east, because I'm pretty well connected in Sydney and Melbourne. But my pillars, I guess, around human by design is resilience, leadership, and growth. So for me, they're the pillars of what I believe in, and I guess fundamentally around the core values of what I do. And for me now, my focus really is, you know, coaching high-performing teams. high-performing people. And look, the word coach does get thrown around a lot. So I know, we're living in a world now where everyone's saying they're a coach and it's all this and all of that. But I think, you also have to look at someone's experience and what they've done to add sort of validity to that. So part of the reason why I chose the name Human by Design was a big thing that I've seen within the ecosystem, and this is not just here in Perth, this is just, probably Australia-wide. I think in America, people are a lot more sort of open, obviously, to failure, and then they're open to having coaches. Like they have, coaches for performance, and they have behavioural coaches, and they have psychologists, and I'm not saying, do all of that, but I think now the message in Australia is getting a bit stronger is the importance, right? If we have a stats that 90% of startups fail, right, we need to kind of cultivate, okay, well, how can we support your journey and support innovation? And for me, I'm very passionate about supporting innovation and supporting other people and really helping people understand and retraining their brains to embrace their humanness, right? Does anyone not understand what I mean when I say humanness? Can anyone sort of, what's the word? Can anyone maybe answer it for me about what I mean by retaining your humanness? Yeah, authenticity. Exactly, yeah. And also realising that we are in a world where when we are hustling, and I've been in this myself, like I have to continue to train myself, right? I'm going through, we talk about marketing as well and strategy, and it's so important. Like my message as well when I first decided to, because I've been doing this business on the side whilst building it and whatever, and I'm like, oh my God, my messaging, I've just got to get my messaging right. And I just sort of, woke up every day and I'm like hustling, and then I'm thinking, oh my goodness, like some of the things and the strategies and all of the integrative strategies I've learned, I need to apply to myself. So I think whilst you're on your business journey, your leadership journey, it is really important to remember that you're also a human being, right? So that's what that means. So what I've kind of seen, I guess, working with high achievers, and I've seen this with early stage businesses, I've seen this with really experienced founders, and like I'm friends with a lot of really experienced founders here in Perth, and I'm going to say her name because she was on my deck for Empower Her because I did a workshop. Ruth Hatherley, she's from Money Capture, she speaks about now the importance of coaching, her journey around what she has really learnt, and I shared some of her insights in my workshop that I did with Empower Her. And, we sometimes think that just because we've seen someone's profile on LinkedIn wearing a pretty dress or whatever, that, we don't also have these feelings and these things don't come up for us. And I can tell you that they do. It's more around how we're actually able to overcome them. So through that, I guess I saw, the pursuit of that excellence and the perfectionism, it does fuel self-doubt. It does, fuel imposter syndrome or that fear of failure. And then those high-pressure environments can really lead to burnout. And, as a leader, we do carry the weight and the vision of everything because we have to be everything. So that's what I've seen. So what I have created is what I call the blend. Now, the blend is something that I decided was really, it's a dynamic integration basically of work, life and growth that aligns with your energy and your priorities and your long-term vision, right? It's the opposite to balance. So if you're busy and someone tells you that you need to have balance, it kind of doesn't resonate, I think, with a lot of high achievers, although I do have it tattooed on my arm. That's another topic. But I think what I'm trying to create with this blend is that, we've gone into, we're not doing a 9-to-5 job as an entrepreneur, And that means that part of it is what drives us is our passion and our purpose. And we get to create that blend for ourselves, right? So we get to have the power to create that. And what that means is that when we go through and we do this exercise, you'll sort of be able to break it down for yourself. But it's really around work, life and well-being. And it's really giving more of a flexible, integrative approach to your work-life growth that really adapts to your energy and your needs and what you need to prioritise, right? And it's not about the perfect balance, because as I said, if we talk about the perfect balance, I feel like that perpetuates that perfectionistic cycle that so many high achievers then think, oh my goodness, I'm failing because I don't have this balance. And I've been in there before, and then you just spiral, and it's really not conducive. So, right, so getting to some facts now, because we love facts. So before I started out during, my own business journey, I obviously needed to validate. I mean, I'm the product. I'm a service-based business, and I needed to really validate what was occurring, in Australia. And put your hands up if you know KPMG Ventures, which is So Amanda Price drove this. It was in 2019, so 6 years ago now. And this was really a report. And if you guys want to look at the report, you can scan the QR code. And that really just sort of showed that there was really a need, with 70% of founders spent nothing on their well-being, which is huge. 20% didn't consult a therapist or a coach in the past year, or only did, sorry. 56% engaged in less than 2 hours of physical activity. I haven't had a chance actually to train much this week, and I'm feeling it, right? So I think, it's really showing that a founder's mental and physical well-being is crucial to the success of and it's not just about exercising, we'll get more into that. There was another report that the Startup Daily Mental Health Report did, and this was more recent, so this is a couple of years ago. And again, it was really just showing some of the same stats, less about percentages, but just areas of there where they were really seeing, burnout, founders actively seeking support had better performance, right? And also investors, I think now, I saw it, I've seen it a lot the last, who goes to West Tech Fest? Yeah, of course you do. I hope you do. So West Tech Fest, I'm not doing a plug for that, but that's in December, and, a lot of VCs here, and then they come over from over east, like Blackbird has been talking about it. And we are talking about it more, but I don't know if a lot of VCs are doing anything about it. So part of my work now is to try and tap into these VCs, such as Fund WA, hello, and just really have these discussions. Go in and have discussions with the portfolio, just to really to normalise this, yeah. So some of the common mindset challenges that impact peak performance, and again, there's a lot of them. So we've only got, so it's 8 or 9, but we've only got a limited amount of time this morning, and I didn't want information overload at 7 a.m. So some of the ones that I've seen quite commonly and are imposter syndrome, fear of failure or judgment, decision paralysis, perfectionism and control, and then the burnout and resilience. So put your hand up if you've ever felt any of them. Yeah? So we've all felt a lot of them, right? At some stage. So what I want to do now, I want to make this interactive. Feel free to come and sit down as well. That's all good. So I want to make it interactive. And what I'm going to do is we're going to go through and we're going to do some exercises together. And I've actually printed out some sheets so that, hopefully I printed enough, so that you guys can do these exercises and just give yourself 5 minutes and we can talk about it. Is everyone happy to do that? Yeah? So I'll get Scott, where is he? Or I'll get Erin maybe to hand it out. So, cool. So this, each of them gets, yep, so this one, just have to make sure there's 2 activities. So make sure I mix it up. Cool. Let's start with the first one. Yes, I'll run out. Hopefully there's enough. If not, then yeah. And just put your hand up if you walked in late and you haven't received the other thing. Cool. So what I want to do is, imposter syndrome is a real thing. So I felt it myself. I've had to change my identity in a way of, certain areas of roles that I've been in. And although that they complement one another, imposter syndrome has come up for me as well, right? And one of the biggest things that I've actually done a lot of research on is affirmations are great, but they don't work unless you actually believe in it yourself. So if you look at yourself in the mirror every day, it's like, yes, I'm confident, I can do this. If you don't believe it in yourself, then those affirmations are probably not going to work, right? So from a psychological point of view, if you actually remember and you go through and you think about a recent success or achievement in your business or as a leader, a high achiever, maybe you're an aspiring entrepreneur and you've realised, you know what, I really want to have this amazing, execute this amazing idea, but there's that fear of failure, self-doubt, that I'm not good enough is coming up for me all the time, and it's like it's stagnating me, because what happens with imposter syndrome is then we get paralysis, and then the spiral effect of that is then the perfectionism. So you can start to see how it all intertwines together. So I'd love you guys, has everyone got a sheet? Has everyone missed out? Has anyone, you haven't got one? No? You have, cool. So I want everyone to write down 2 or 3 words or phrases that describe how you felt. So I want you to think about a recent success or achievement in your business. So it can be any success. I don't want you to downplay your success. Every step as a founder in the forward-thinking direction is positive. And I want you to write down 2 or 3 phrases to describe how you felt. Now, people online, are they able to do this as well?
Yes, so they'd be able to see this.
Okay, cool. So people online, I want you guys to do it as well. Obviously, I can't hear you or see you, but so I want you to really think about that recent success that you've had. I want you to write down 2 or 3 words or phrases to describe how you felt. And then I want you to think, did you feel like an imposter before you had that success? Why or why not? And then once you've done that, further reflection on, do you think the goal was harder to reach than it actually was? And then reflect on the skill or strength that helped you achieve that success. So I'll give you guys, how are we going for time? Can I give them 5 minutes, or is that too long? 3 minutes? Okay. No, okay, we better hurry up. Yeah, so I'll give you guys a couple of minutes. Again, I've given you the handout so that when you go home or you go about your day, you can actually reflect on that yourself. actually do one on. Yeah, cool. You what, sorry? Yeah, no, do it after, yeah. Okay, I'll give you guys a few more minutes. Who feels comfortable to stand up and share their experience? Yeah, what was your name, sorry? Amit, okay, cool.
Yeah, so with the recent success, it's related to what I said at the start. I just launched the waitlist, so I spent about 5 days working on that, from the moment I wake up to the moment I went to bed, essentially. I think initially... Oh, sure. So initially I felt proud, I think, when I first released it for the first 5 minutes. I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. Released it, looks pretty. Showed it to my parents and they were like, cool, but are you searching for jobs? Did you get a job? And I immediately felt like, why am I doing this? Like, there's no one in my sort of immediate network that sort of appreciated it. What if it falls through? Even if it doesn't fall through, who am I doing this for? So I felt a bit of, not necessarily like imposter syndrome, but felt, I suppose, a bit of why am I doing this in the first place? There needs to be someone that I should be building this for.
Can I ask a question around that?
Go for it, yeah.
So why are you doing this in the first place? And then I guess what was underneath that for you?
So I knew that I was doing it for survival. So I have been someone who was fortunate to work in the UK as a software developer, and I was working on a startup on the side at the same time. I was on a temporary visa, so I had essentially the choice of either make my startup work and for that to fund me, or to just rely on luck to have companies to sponsor my visa, essentially. What happened was the company let go of me, essentially because I was working on the startup. So I had to leave the UK because I was working on my startup. So for me, it's really just a matter of survival. I have to work on this. I don't really care how, what my mind is going through. I just need to succeed, essentially. So a lot of the times...
So it sounds like you were maybe disconnected as to why you were doing it?
Or I would recognize the feeling and go, this is not important right now. Okay. I just need to keep going. Even if I'm going, even if I'm feeling anxious or overwhelmed, it's not a priority right now. Right now, what's important is just to keep going and to do what I'm doing, essentially. Yeah. So I don't know if it's disconnect, but this is not important right now, and just leave it. Sort of.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Would anyone else like to share? Just obviously the chap at the back. What was your name? Sorry.
We're just having a quick chat at the back here.
Love it. No.
And I had reinforcement. I felt like it was reinforcement. I'd done the work and I wasn't surprised, but I didn't want to get too far ahead of myself. So it was, you land a big client, you lose a big client. If you stay kind of neutral. Did I feel like an imposter? No, I did not. I didn't feel like an imposter because I'd done the work. Do you think the goal was harder to reach? No. I feel like the harder I tried to reach my goals, the more I was not reaching them in a weird way.
Yeah.
I was forcing it,
yeah.
Trying to be too pushy. And then we talked about what skills and strengths are: resilience and not afraid to fail. And we have a family and people that love and support us. Mm-hmm. So having that...
support, yeah.
That support.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. And look, imposter syndrome looks different for a lot of different people. I mean, we could go on and talk more about that, but let's have a chat after. Anyone else want to share just one? Yeah.
So I felt positive, I felt heard, and if anything, it actually motivated me more to continue on doing what I'm doing, that I was kind of on the right path. I think in terms of, did I feel like an imposter? Do I feel like an imposter? Of course. Like, as a marketer, we live in a world where everybody's a marketer, right? Everybody's got their own opinion. And essentially what it came down to of, do I think the goal was harder? No. And the reason for that is because of my strengths, because I've got 30 years experience as a marketer. I've got a number of degrees to be able to back that up, as well as I've worked with some of the best companies in the world. Like, you have to reinforce and remind yourself of those skills, and just because if one thing fails, it doesn't mean that the next thing's going to fail. And it's really just about finding the people who you connect with and who you resonate with. So yeah,
that's really good advice. And yeah, I think the reason why I wanted you to do that is lean into that. And if some of you had in there, you know, that you are feeling like an imposter at the moment, reflecting on those wins as well is going to, sorry, I forgot your name, reinforce, you know, that you do have the capability to do it. But I think when we're in the thick of it, we forget to do that. So I'm mindful of time. So we might need to do this one at home, because I know we need to finish by 8:30. Is that right, Scott? Okay, maybe not. Okay, so I spoke about the blend. Now, who likes the concept of the blend? Yeah, a few people. Some people like, meh, whatever. That's okay. So I want you to remember the blend and remember what I was talking about with the blend. And on the sheet that you have got as a handout to take home, there is a pie chart on there which gives like a breakdown, obviously, of work, life and well-being. And I want you to be really honest with yourself about this. Now, the blend isn't, again, the balance. Remember that. So the balance is the dirty word. The blend is the integration of work, life and growth. So having a look through those elements and really kind of asking yourself and being real with yourself, how aligned are your work responsibilities with your long-term vision and your strategic goals? Is there any room for improvement? Life, so your personal relationships and self-care. And then also looking at how actively you're investing in both your personal and your professional growth, right? And when I say personal and professional growth, well, obviously having a startup, you're professionally growing all the time. But I just mean, is it rooted in hustling? And is the chap at the back, I think Alistair said, you know, was around, you know, I guess less flow and more kind of like, I just have to do, and seemed a little bit impulsive, which is normal. Or is it I'm rooted in actually being able to get up every day? And again, this is going to look different every day, so I don't want it to be around, you know, we wake up, sometimes we feel exhausted, we have things that happen in our personal life, we might have partners that, you know, different things, we have children, a whole load of things that can impact that blend. But at least if you can write down one small change where you can make this week better or the next couple of weeks better for yourself. And when I say better, it's really around the blend, which is essentially looking at maybe clearer boundaries. We love that word. More flexibility and maybe prioritising your well-being. Where would you make that change? And I want to go around the room and I want to make it really punchy and everyone just to say one. I don't want to hear your life story, but I just want to hear what is the one thing that you're going to commit to when you leave today that you're going to change to give you a better blend. Okay?
So sorry.
So I'll give everyone like 1 minute.
Okay.
1 minute and then, yeah. Okay, I'm going to start at the back.
Do you want me to?
We're going to start with the guy in the white shirt, and I can't remember your name, but I know you're... no, this chap, sorry.
Oh, this
What was your name
shirt.
again? Because you're what's-her-name's husband, but I can't remember now.
Hello, my name's Brad.
Yeah, Brad, yeah,
Thank
that's
you
it.
for having me today. I'm going to focus on, currently I like ticking off those small tasks on my list, and I'm like, oh, I'm getting so many wins on the board, like, yeah. But the bigger strategic kind of tasks that take like longer focus work, I find I struggle to get into
Yep.
because I'm focusing on the small tasks.
So we want 30 seconds, quick. What are you going to change?
I'm going to focus on the big stuff, not the small stuff.
Okay, cool. That's how quick we need to go because I want everyone to do it.
Better planning in my schedule.
Yep. And say your name and then what you're going to change, please.
Crystal, no devices during meals.
Awesome.
Jan, probably make some better coffee while I'm sitting in the office.
Okay, yeah. Fair enough.
Hi, I'm Agastya. So I'll learn more about deep learning this week and try to learn more things and implement that in my product.
Yep. Before you move on, what's more things? Be specific, please.
Like currently I'm trying to learn reinforcement learning, so I want to learn that this week.
Awesome.
G'day, Drew. Nighttime workout in the pool with my wife.
Awesome.
I'm Brad. Probably going to take more breaks during the day.
Ryan, less screen time before going to bed.
Yes, that's a good one. I'm going to commit to that too.
Kaylee, back to the gym every single morning.
Awesome.
Yeah, Batham, to learn how to stop procrastinating, it's killing me.
Yeah, let's talk after.
Dale, more regular training and exercise.
Awesome.
Sandy, we'll do more hustle. So.
You do more what?
Hustle.
Hustle? Okay, how are you going to implement that hustle though? Because we're talking about the blend. So the hustle culture...
I will try to find more time by reducing, unnecessary doom scrolling, and then try to focus more on.
So you're going to prioritize what you need to focus on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Reduce doom scrolling and time spent on social media. So.
Great.
Ahmed, honestly not sure, but it's around life, I think, probably personal relationships and self-care. Not entirely sure, to be honest, but
sure.
Probably something in that
and
space.
Think about that and afterwards, yeah,
Yep.
Cool.
Sebastian, focus to minimise distractions during work time.
You want to do it? That's fair enough.
Wes, find a dedicated workspace to focus on work that's not the kitchen bench.
That's a good one.
Is that a plug for Space Cubed?
Hi, my name's Patrick. I'm probably going to focus this year on assembling more team and focusing less on the detail and more on the big picture.
Yeah, Aaron, I'd like to spend more time with my wife and kids at the start and the end of the day.
Carrie, alone time.
Maggie, I'd like to be consistent when I do my exercises, and like that young guy up there, I do the little things because the big things I go, whoa. So I'm going to start on both of those.
Yep, and it's the process, isn't it, really? Getting to that.
John, 8 hours of sleep, bed straight after dinner. Well, preparing for bed straight after dinner.
The better sleep, yeah.
Trent, I'm going to focus on growth, and that'll be trying to find more kind of specialised career mentors out there.
Awesome.
Hello, I'm Harry, and I want to be more frequent in the gym.
I'm Alex. I'm just going to have less screen time overall.
Awesome. And the guys at the back, I think the dude in the black shirt, we didn't do, I don't know if you were here.
Roman, I want to prioritize my sleep and body weight exercises. That's it.
Ricky, morning swims and walks are a non-negotiable from tomorrow onwards.
Awesome, love that. With this weather.
Yeah, similar for me. Get up, no phone, straight either running or into the ice tub, and then 10 minutes of meditation before touching phone, laptop.
Love that.
And pending screaming toddler.
Yeah. Awesome.
Beautiful.
Awesome. Well, before we get into the last exercise for the day, which is actually about not doing anything, it's more, I'm going to run a meditation for you guys. Do we have any questions at all about anything that I've spoken about today? Are there any questions?
At the start you said it's important to overcome your stress, and I was wondering if you overcome it or if you accept it, like you just...
Yeah, that's actually a good point. That probably should have been written in there as accepting it, but I think what I was trying to get with overcoming it was more looking at the areas as to why the stress is coming up. But that's a good thing for me to change, so thank you for that.
I have a question about tips to separate work and life, like being more present specifically in daily life, because sometimes your mind just keeps, going about work stuff.
Yeah. I don't think that there is a one-size-fits-all answer to that. I think if you think about your business strategy, it takes time to get there. If you think about, wanting to create more space in your mind, you need to ensure that you're actually implementing that. So it's actually changing your habits to be able to give more space, if that makes sense. So if we go back to the blend, and when you leave here today, that sounds like that could be something that may be something for you to focus on, and how you're going to incorporate that into your lifestyle, as well as being, you're an entrepreneur, yeah? Yeah, so as well as being an entrepreneur, how you're going to implement some of that blend, because as this chap pointed out, a lot of it is about acceptance, because if we're then continuing to fix, we're actually doing the opposite of what we're trying to do, because creating more space isn't about fixing, it's the opposite of fixing. It's actually being. Does that make sense? Sort of? Yeah. So on that note, talking about being, I'm going to run a 5-minute meditation, and I invite you guys to just sit in your chair. I want you to drop your shoulders. I'm going to put some music on.
Is there anyone that needs to duck out as well?
Yes,
I'm just
sure.
mindful we're a little bit later than what we usually are. So if there's anyone who needs to run off to somewhere, now is the perfect time for you to exit stage left.
Sure. So I want you guys to find a comfortable seated position. I want you to close your eyes if you feel called, or you can keep them open, whatever you feel comfortable with. I want you to let your hands rest gently in your lap. Close your eyes and take a deep breath in, and slowly exhale. As you settle in, set a simple intention for this moment. Perhaps to feel grounded, to welcome clarity, or to embrace resilience. Let this intention sit lightly in your awareness without forcing or without overthinking. Now bring your attention to your feet. Feel the solid ground beneath you, steady and supportive. With each breath, imagine roots gently extending downward, anchoring you with stability and with strength. Shift your awareness through your body, relaxing your legs, your hips, your back, your shoulders, your neck. With every exhale, release any lingering tension. Know that in this moment, you are safe, supported, and exactly where you need to be. Now focus on your breath. Inhale deeply, allowing calm and clarity to fill you. Exhale slowly, letting go of stress, doubt, or distraction. With each breath in, feel yourself becoming more present. With each breath out, let go of anything that no longer serves you. Picture yourself stepping into your highest potential as an entrepreneur and leader. Capable, resilient, and open to possibility. See yourself navigating challenges with confidence, learning from each experience and growing stronger with every step. Now take a moment to acknowledge one thing that you feel grateful for today. Perhaps an opportunity, a lesson, this morning's meetup, or the support around you of other entrepreneurs. Let that gratitude expand you, bringing warmth and energy to your day. Silently repeat to yourself, challenges are stepping stones for my growth. I embrace uncertainty as part of my journey. I trust myself to find solutions as they arise. I am building something meaningful, one step at a time. Let these words settle within you, like seeds planting a strong foundation for the day ahead. Now deepen your breath. I want everyone to have a big breath in and then let it go. Bring awareness back to your body. Gently wiggle your fingers and your toes, feeling energy in return, feeling the energy return. When you're ready, open your eyes. I'm going to stop this music. How does everyone feel? Feel ready to sort of face the day? And we're nearly finished because I know that we run over. So when you're obviously leaving today, remembering that your mindset isn't just for personal. It's a powerful tool, and how you think shapes how you show up, make decisions, and drive growth. Before we finish up, the key takeaways are imposter syndrome, fear of failure and judgment, decision paralysis, perfectionism, control, and burnout and resilience. I'm actually running a 6-week program at the end of April for early stage entrepreneurs and leaders. This is going to be an online event, which is going to be covering some of these elements at a deeper level. I'm actually creating a really safe container and a selective container on how I can show up for early stage entrepreneurs and leaders to cover some of these areas. It will be once a week starting on the 30th of April and go for 6 weeks. And we will be deep diving into more of this as a group. So if you feel called, scan the QR code and have a look if you want to do it. And the QR code, obviously, on the handouts that I gave you too, is for my LinkedIn and also for the event. But yeah, thank you. I really appreciate you guys turning up and being open.
Woo, thank you so much, Kate. What a good way to start the day. Is everyone feeling invigorated after that? Inspired to hit the work? All right, cool. Well, look, we've got some food at the back. Help yourselves. We've got some coffee out there. Tell them you're at Morning Startup. And I think we've got, let's call it half an hour of networking. We should be out of here by 9. So we're going to throw furniture at you. Don't be afraid.
Just duck. That's the most important thing. If we throw a chair at you, just duck.
Oh, and contact at morningstartup.com if you want to pitch in 4 weeks' time at the Pitch Your Startup event. Otherwise, we'll see you in 2 weeks' time with a cool topic from Erin.
Mystery.
All right. Thank you once again, Kate, and see you in 2 weeks. Cheers.
Thanks, everyone.